Anything on you in the city of Pokey?
Not at all.
And your pocket's pretty good, it's
No, nothing at all.
Oh,
Sorry, I thought
Second Duggar brother and wife has been arrested, and if you thought the first one was shocking, wait until you hear what the evidence looks like this time. The first brother, Josh Duggar, the oldest of 19 children, the face of the family's television brand, is already in federal prison. Convicted in 2021, sentenced to 12 years and 7 months. Every appeal denied. Every legal door shut. He will not be a free man until December 2032 at the earliest. The second brother is 31-year-old Joseph Duggar, the seventh child, a father of 4, a man who stepped back from the public eye years ago and appeared, to anyone still paying attention, to be living quietly in northwest Arkansas with his wife and young children. He was arrested on March 18, 2026. The charges came out of Florida. Felony charges, and before the week was over, his wife had also been arrested on separate charges in Arkansas involving those same 4 children. What prosecutors in Florida have in their possession right now is not a he said, she said case. It is not a case built entirely on one person's account against another person's denial. It is a case with a documented forensic interview, an official arrest affidavit from a county sheriff's office, and a recorded phone conversation in which the suspect admitted the conduct and stated that his intentions were not pure. Before we go any further, this video covers the alleged abuse of a minor. We handle it with facts and with care, but I want to be transparent with you about what this case involves before we go deeper into it. For anyone watching this channel for the first time, subscribe right now, notifications on, drop a comment and tell us where in the world you are watching from. We cover cases like this one from every angle, the investigation, the legal process, the evidence, and we stay with them long after they fall off the front page. And to everyone who has already been part of this community, every person who has subscribed, shared a video, left a comment, sent this channel to someone who needed to see it, thank you. The growth of this channel is entirely because of you. Every case we cover reaches more people because you chose to share it. That matters more than we can put into words. Now, let us talk about what actually happened, because this story starts not with an arrest, but with a child who decided it was finally time to tell the truth. Before getting into the evidence, you need just enough background to understand why this arrest hit the way it did. Jim Bob and Michelle Duggar built one of the most recognizable brands in American reality television. Their show, 19 Kids and Counting, launched on TLC in September 2008 and ran for 7 years. At its peak, it drew over 4 million viewers per episode. The premise was straightforward. A devout, independent Baptist family in northwest Arkansas, raising 19 children, all with names beginning with the letter J, according to strict religious principles. No dating before formal courtship, no unsupervised contact between unmarried couples, homeschooling, modest dress, a life structured entirely around faith. For a long time, it was exactly what TLC's audience wanted. Then in 2015, a police report from 2006 became public. It revealed that Josh Duggar, the oldest of the 19 children, had been investigated nearly a decade earlier after a family friend reported that he had inappropriately touched multiple young girls, including 4 of his own sisters, when he was a teenager. By the time police looked into it, the statute of limitations had expired. No charges were filed. Josh released a public apology. TLC canceled the show the same year. But Josh's story did not end there. In April 2021, federal agents executed a search warrant at a used car dealership Josh owned in Springdale, Arkansas. Investigators had traced a computer's IP address to that location. On that computer, they found over 200 images of child sexual abuse material, including content involving children as young as 18 months old. According to court documents, when agents arrived with the search warrant, Josh immediately asked, before anyone explained why they were there, whether someone had been downloading child pornography. He was convicted by a federal jury in December 2021 and sentenced in May 2022 to 12 years and 7 months in federal prison. His sentence also included 20 years of supervised release, with a court order prohibiting unsupervised contact with his own 7 children after his release. His earliest possible release date is December 2032 at the earliest. Josh has challenged his conviction at every level since 2021. The Eighth Circuit Court of Appeals upheld it in 2023. The U.S. Supreme Court declined to hear his appeal in June 2024. In July 2025, representing himself from prison, after the court denied his request for a public defender, Josh filed a new 54-page motion to vacate his conviction. He claimed a Department of Justice forensics expert committed perjury by presenting manipulated digital evidence, that prosecutors withheld key information, and that he was denied the ability to present evidence pointing to an alternative perpetrator. That hearing was scheduled for March 4, 2026, but was postponed after Josh retained Chicago attorney Bo Brindley, the same attorney who previously represented R. Kelly. A new hearing date has not been set. As of March 2026, Josh Duggar remains at FCI Seagoville, a low-security federal correctional facility in Texas near Dallas. Every legal challenge he has filed has failed. His case remains technically active, but he has no successful challenge to his conviction to date. That is the backdrop. That is the family name Joseph Duggar carries into a courtroom. The case against Joseph Duggar did not begin with a tip to a hotline. It did not begin with a social media post or a news report. It began in a forensic interview room in Tontitown, Arkansas in early March 2026, when a 14-year-old girl sat down with trained investigators and told them what had happened to her 6 years earlier. Forensic interviews are structured, recorded conversations conducted by specially trained professionals. They are designed to gather accurate, uncontaminated disclosures from child victims without leading questions or coaching. The recordings are used as official documentation in criminal proceedings. What that girl said in that room became the foundation of this entire case. During the interview, she described a series of incidents that occurred during a family vacation to Panama City Beach, Florida, in 2020. She was 9 years old at the time. Joseph Duggar was 25. According to the Bay County Sheriff's Office arrest affidavit, the families were known to each other and traveled together. That relationship is what gave Joseph access to the child. The affidavit states that during the vacation, Joseph repeatedly asked the girl to sit on his lap. Later, he asked her to sit beside him on a couch and covered both of them with a blanket. He then made inappropriate contact with her over her clothing and continued to rub his hands on her thighs. The girl reported that Joseph eventually apologized on his own and that the conduct stopped after that apology. She did not tell anyone at the time. What prompted her to come forward in early March 2026, after 6 years, has not been publicly confirmed by investigators. What is confirmed is that she did come forward. She participated in the forensic interview, and the documentation from that interview was enough for Tontitown police to move immediately. On March 17th, one day before Joseph's arrest, the victim's father confronted Joseph directly. According to the Bay County Sheriff's Office, Joseph admitted his actions to the father during that confrontation. Tontitown police then took a critical investigative step. They set up a monitored, recorded call between the victim's father and Joseph with a detective on the line. This is a standard investigative technique used to capture admissions in cases where a suspect may speak more freely in a personal conversation than they would directly to law enforcement. On that call, Joseph admitted that he had made contact with the girl over her clothing. He also stated that his intentions were not pure. That last phrase is legally significant. In child molestation prosecutions, establishing criminal intent is often one of the hardest elements to prove beyond a reasonable doubt. Physical contact alone does not always meet the legal threshold. Intent does. Joseph provided that element himself, voluntarily on a line he knew or should have known was being monitored. Every inmate and every person on a recorded law enforcement call is informed before the call begins that it is being recorded. The following morning, March 18, 2026, Tontitown police arrested Joseph Duggar at his home. He was transported to the Washington County Detention Center. The Bay County Sheriff's Office in Florida announced the charges: molestation of a victim less than 12 years old and lewd and lascivious behavior conducted by a person 18 years or older. Bay County Sheriff Tommy Ford addressed the public directly after the arrest. His message was unambiguous. "We work, unfortunately, way too many of these types of cases, and I don't care if he's got a TV show or who he is or what he's done. He's committed an illegal act, and he's going to be held accountable for that." The Duggar name, the television history, the public profile, none of it changed how his office would handle the case. Shortly after Joseph's arrest, the Washington County Sheriff's Office released booking footage from inside the detention center. The video shows Joseph going through the standard intake process, being searched, having his information entered into the jail system. Take a look at this footage. The booking video is now part of the public record. His reference to his brother in response to being asked if he had been there before is one of the more striking moments in the footage, an offhand acknowledgement of Josh Duggar's own arrest and processing through the same system years earlier. Joseph made his first court appearance via Zoom the following day, dressed in a jail jumpsuit. On March 20th, 2 days after his arrest, he waived his right to an extradition hearing in Arkansas, meaning he did not contest being transferred to Florida to face charges there. Joseph Duggar waived his right to an extradition hearing this morning. Florida authorities now have 30 days to transfer him from Washington County to Bay County. Florida authorities now had up to 30 days to transport him. Once in Bay County, a judge would hold a hearing to determine whether bond would be set and at what amount, given the severity of the felony charges he faces. The day after his arrest, Joseph made a call from inside the Washington County Detention Center. All inmate calls are recorded. Inmates are informed of this before every call. That did not stop what came next. 5 News Arkansas obtained part of the call. In it, Joseph reached out to what appeared to be legal counsel or an advisor, trying to understand where his situation stood. Here is part of that call.
Hi there. This is Joe Duggar here.
Yeah.
Hey,
Go
hey, I'm over here at the Washington County.
Yeah.
Kind of, I don't know if my dad mentioned it to you or not.
Yeah.
I didn't know if we need to talk sometime about things or how the process works here on this side, or if you know anything.
Well,
I do.
yeah. The only issue, well, you're there. You're in custody pending the issuance of a governor's warrant by the state of Florida.
Okay.
And you can be held for 30 days. Now, you may be entitled to bond. Have they talked to you about? I got my status.
Yeah.
Have they talked to you about? Have they talked to you about bond?
Nothing. No.
Okay. They haven't said they're going to bring you before a judge anytime soon?
No, nothing of that sort.
Okay. Yeah, that's the only issue you've got now while you're in Washington County. You want to be out. And you get ties to the community, you get your family here. I mean, the judge should set a bond, in which case you'll be out pending Arkansas receipt of a governor's warrant from Florida. It's called extradition, which you may have heard of, but
Okay.
But yeah, that's the only issue you got here in Arkansas. So
Okay. All right.
they should. They should. I mean, you should appear before the judge for bond, but let me know if that happens.
Okay.
If not, we might be able to get you in front of a judge for that.
Okay.
You have 3 minutes remaining on this call.
Yeah,
I guess if that's it, I guess we'll just, thank you. Yeah, if that's it, then I guess we can, circle back if we hear anything.
Yeah.
I'm not too familiar with this process since it's,
Okay.
the first time.
Well, if you, yeah, I understand. But if you bump into a deputy or something, so ask if they're getting a bond hearing.
Okay. Okay. I'll ask that. All right. Thank you.
All right.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
The call tells us several things. Within hours of being booked, Joseph was already working to understand his legal options. He was asking about bond, about the extradition timeline, about what came next. He was not panicking, he was navigating. What the call also confirms is that at this point, Joseph had not yet been formally assigned legal representation for the Florida case. No attorney had spoken with him, no bond hearing had been scheduled, and he was reaching out through what appeared to be an informal channel for guidance. The investigation did not stop with Joseph. 2 days after his arrest, it came for his wife. Joseph and Kendra Duggar met through church. They married in September 2017. She was 19, he was 23. Their wedding was documented on TLC's Counting On spin-off series. They have 4 children together. Son Garrett, born June 2018, daughter Addison, born November 2019, daughter Brooklyn, born February 2021, and a 4th child born in 2022. Their oldest is 7 years old, their youngest is 3. When Joseph was arrested on March 18th, investigators conducted a welfare check at the family home. What they found inside that home triggered a separate criminal investigation, one that is legally distinct from the Florida charges Joseph faces. On March 20th, the Tontiton Police Department announced arrest warrants for both Joseph and Kendra Duggar on the following charges in Arkansas: 4 counts of second-degree endangering the welfare of a minor, and 4 counts of second-degree false imprisonment, 8 charges each. The department's statement was precise. As a result of the continuing investigation, additional charges have been filed in this case against Joseph Duggar, age 31, and Kendra Duggar, age 27. Arrest warrants have been issued and served for the following misdemeanor offenses through district court: 4 counts of endangering the welfare of a minor, second degree, 4 counts of false imprisonment, second degree. This remains an active and ongoing investigation. Arkansas law strictly limits the information that may be released in cases involving minors and other sensitive circumstances to protect the integrity of the investigation and the privacy of those involved. No further details will be provided at this time. The department has not officially confirmed the specific evidence behind these charges. However, an insider who spoke to U.S. Weekly, whose account has not been independently verified by law enforcement, claimed the charges relate to the discovery that lock mechanisms on certain bedroom doors inside the home were positioned on the outside of the doors rather than the inside. If accurate, that would mean the children inside those rooms could not open the doors themselves from within. That detail, if confirmed, explains the legal basis for both charge categories. Under Arkansas law, second-degree endangering the welfare of a minor covers conduct that creates a substantial risk of serious harm to a child. If a child cannot exit a room in an emergency, a fire, a medical situation, any urgent need, that constitutes a risk of serious harm. Second-degree false imprisonment covers knowingly restraining another person's movement without legal authority. 4 counts on each charge, 1 for each of the couple's 4 children, suggests every child in the home is implicated in the welfare concern. Tontiton police arrived at the Duggar residence around 1 p.m. on March 20th to serve the warrant. Kendra was not home. She turned herself in later that afternoon. Jail records from the Washington County Sheriff's Office show she was taken into custody at 4:56 p.m. local time. She was released approximately 1 hour later on a bond of $1,470. A hearing in the Arkansas misdemeanor case was scheduled for March 23rd. Joseph remained in the Washington County Detention Center. This case is moving fast and it is not close to finished. Subscribe and turn on notifications so you are notified the moment new developments drop. We will be here every time this case moves. Joseph's most serious legal exposure is in Florida. The charges there are felonies, and the most powerful piece of evidence prosecutors have is not physical forensics, not a witness lineup, not surveillance footage. It is Joseph's own voice. He admitted the conduct to the victim's father on March 17th. He then admitted it again the following day on a recorded call with a detective monitoring the line. Those 2 admissions together establish both the act and the intent. The phrase he used, that his intentions were not pure, goes directly to criminal intent, which is a required element under Florida's lewd and lascivious behavior statute. For a defense team, this is the central problem. There are several angles they could pursue. The first is a motion to suppress. Defense attorneys could argue the monitored call was improperly set up, that Joseph was not adequately advised of his rights before speaking, or that the recording violated proper procedure. If successful, a suppression motion could remove that recorded admission from trial entirely, meaning the jury would never hear it. From inside FCI Seagoville in Texas, Josh Duggar responded to his brother's arrest through his attorney. The statement was relayed to the Daily Mail. Josh Duggar does not know the details of the claims that have been made against his brother Joseph, but he knows the media frenzy that any incident regarding his family creates. He feels for his brother because everything is amplified out of proportion by the media interest in his family. This makes the pain of the criminal justice process exponentially worse. Josh prays for his brother, and he hopes that he can stay strong. He, too, has felt the crushing wave of accusation that is powered by the media spectacle to which his family is subjected. The attorney also confirmed that Josh and Joseph are not in frequent contact with each other. It is worth noting the context in which that statement was made. Josh's own conviction was upheld at every appellate level. Every legal challenge has failed. His current motion to vacate, filed in July 2025 and now in the hands of attorney Beau Brindley, has not been decided. He has no successful challenge to his conviction to date, and his release date sits at December 2032. His attorney's framing of the charges against Joseph as amplified accusations powered by media spectacle is a position, not a legal finding. The recorded admission, the forensic interview, the affidavit from the Bay County Sheriff's Office, and the monitored call with a detective on the line are the actual record. The broader Duggar family went largely quiet after Joseph's arrest. Jim Bob and Michelle Duggar issued no public statement. Joseph and Kendra's own social media had been inactive since 2021. Their last public post was celebrating their third child's second birthday. The first and most direct family response came from Joseph's older sister, Jill Duggar Dillard, and her husband, Derek. Jill's own history with this family carries weight here. In 2015, she publicly confirmed that she was one of the victims of Josh Duggar's conduct as a teenager. She wrote about it in detail in her 2023 memoir, Counting the Cost. She and Derek published their response on their family website on March 19th, the day after Joseph's arrest. They learned about the arrest not from a family member. They learned about it from a text message sent from a friend who had seen the news. We were shocked yesterday evening to learn of Jill's brother Joseph Duggar's arrest. We first learned of anything related to his charges yesterday via a text from a friend who messaged us about the recent media reports of Joseph's arrest and his alleged confession to molesting a juvenile female in 2020. We are shocked and heartbroken. We strongly condemn abuse. We support the rule of law and hope that justice will be achieved. Our hearts go out to the innocent juvenile victim of this unspeakable crime and her family. We pray God gives her strength, comfort, and hope, and that she is able to get all the help and support she needs and deserves in the days ahead. We love our sister-in-law, Kendra, and our 4 nieces and nephews, and pray that they feel loved and supported during this time, as we cannot imagine the indescribable pain they feel as they process and grieve everything. Jill and Derek were the first Duggar family members to speak publicly. They were also notably still unaware when they wrote those words that Kendra would be arrested the following day. Joseph's cousin, Amy Duggar King, who has written publicly about the family in her book Holy Disruptor and has been one of the most consistent critical voices from within the extended family, also released a statement on March 20th. In light of the recent allegations involving my cousin Joseph Duggar, I am sickened, heartbroken, and deeply angry. My first thoughts are with the victim, a child who deserved to be safe, protected, and surrounded by people she could trust. The courage it took for her to come forward, especially after years of carrying something so heavy, cannot be overstated. That bravery deserves to be honored above all else. I was utterly shocked to hear about these allegations and Joseph's arrest. At the same time, I am not surprised that another alleged predator has emerged from this toxic system. For years, I have spoken out about the importance of truth, accountability, and protecting children, even when it meant going against my own family. The following day, March 21st, after learning of Kendra's arrest, Amy amended her statement. I need to say something clearly before anything else. My statement, released on Friday, March 20th, was written and submitted before I had any knowledge of Kendra Duggar's arrest. When I wrote that I was praying for Kendra as she begins to process this, I was speaking to what I believed at the time, that she was a wife and mother blindsided by devastating news about her husband. I want that context to be unambiguous. Those words were written in a different moment with different information. Separately, reporting indicated that some within the broader Duggar family circle had privately characterized the situation as a witch hunt. No official family statement to that effect has been confirmed. With both parents now facing criminal charges, the immediate practical question is what happens to the 4 children, ranging from approximately 3 to 7 years old. Their current placement has not been officially confirmed publicly. When both parents in a household face criminal charges that involve child welfare, Child Protective Services, in Arkansas, that is the Department of Human Services, will conduct a formal assessment. The standard process is to look first for a suitable relative placement, a grandparent, aunt or uncle, or other family member approved to care for the children while proceedings continue. If no suitable relative placement is identified, the children are placed in foster care. Kendra was released approximately 1 hour after her arrest and was back in the community the same evening. Whether that short window between her arrest and release triggered a formal DHS removal of the children has not been disclosed. What is clear is that the Arkansas misdemeanor charges, the endangerment and false imprisonment counts, directly involve all 4 children by name and by count. That means DHS has an active legal basis to remain involved in the household, regardless of how either criminal case resolves. The children's welfare is now a parallel matter to the criminal proceedings, and it will continue to be monitored independently of whatever happens in the courts. Here is the full picture as of today. Joseph Duggar remains in the Washington County Detention Center in Arkansas. He waived his right to an extradition hearing. Florida authorities have up to 30 days from March 20th to transfer him to Bay County. Once there, a Florida judge will hold a bond hearing. Given the nature of the felony charges, any bond set is expected to be substantial. It is also possible the judge declines to set bond at all, given the allegations involving a minor in the existence of a documented admission. In Florida, Joseph faces 2 felony counts, molestation of a victim less than 12 years old, and lewd and lascivious behavior conducted by a person 18 years or older. No defense attorney for the Florida case has been publicly identified. In Arkansas, both Joseph and Kendra face 8 misdemeanor charges each, 4 counts of second-degree endangering the welfare of a minor, and 4 counts of second-degree false imprisonment. Joseph's Arkansas court date is April 29th at Elm Springs District Court. Kendra had hearing set for March 23rd. She remains out of custody on $1,470 bond. The Tontoton Police Department has confirmed the investigation is active and ongoing. The victim is 14 years old. She came forward voluntarily. Her identity remains protected. Her father's direct confrontation of Joseph and Joseph's admission in that confrontation is the thread that started the entire legal process, now moving through 2 separate state systems. There is a detail in this case that is easy to pass over, but worth sitting with. The victim was 9 years old when this happened. She was 14 when she walked into that forensic interview room. Between those 2 ages, 5 years, she carried this without telling anyone, and then she did. She did not go to the press. She did not post about it. She sat down with trained investigators. She told them what she remembered, and the system, for once, moved quickly. The forensic interview generated documentation. That documentation reached the Bay County Sheriff's Office in Florida. A detective in Tontoton set up a monitored call. A father made a phone call. A man answered and said things that are now on the record, and within 24 hours, that man was in handcuffs. Joseph Duggar has not been convicted. He is legally presumed innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. What the evidence shows and what a court ultimately decides are two different things, and that process is still ahead. What is already decided is this: the recorded admission exists, the forensic interview is documented, the affidavit from the Bay County Sheriff's Office is public, the investigation in both Arkansas and Florida is ongoing, and for the first time in years, law enforcement in 2 states is asking detailed questions about what was happening inside the Duggar household long after the cameras left and the show went off the air. This case is not finished. We will be here every time it moves. If this breakdown gave you something the headlines didn't, subscribe, turn on notifications, and share this with someone who follows the Duggar story or true crime. We cover the evidence, the legal process, and the facts that most coverage skips. The next update on this case will be here the moment it happens. See you then.